Hi, I'm Rob from B&H, and in this video we're checking out two new handheld portable audio recorders from Nagra, the Lino and the Pico. Last year we checked out the Nagra SD and we were very impressed with its build and sound quality, but it is not inexpensive. Well, now they've added these two less expensive models to their portable audio recorder line. So if you've wanted a Nagra recorder but haven't been able to afford one, the Lino or Pico might just be right for you. Let's take a look. We'll start with the smaller, less expensive of the two, the Pico. And while we check it out, I've taken my lav mic off and will use it to record my voice for this part of the video. The Pico is incredibly small, weighing in at just 2.5 ounces without the two AA batteries it runs on. The chassis features metal casing, and the batteries fit right in the back and will power the unit for over 40 hours, giving you a lot of worry-free time in the field. The Pico will record either stereo or mono files, either as PCM or MP3 files, to its internal 4 GB memory. It does not use SD or SDHC cards. Maximum resolution for the WAV files is 16-bit 48 kHz for about 5.7 hours of recording time. That's actually the resolution we're using to record my voice right now. MP3s can be recorded at a maximum of 320 kilobits per second for stereo files, or as low as 32 kilobits per second for mono files. And at that ultra-low rate, you'll get a whopping 277 hours of audio. The Pico has been designed for handheld operation by journalists and other on-the-go users, and it fits great in the palm of your hand with its two high-sensitivity microphone capsules built into the front of the unit behind the plastic grill. Most of the one-touch operations are on the side. For example, right at the top by my thumb here is the one-touch record button. Transport buttons are just below, stop, a play and pause button, as well as fast-forward and rewind buttons that do double duty as input level controls when the Pico is in record. The volume control for the internal speaker and headphone jack is on the side, followed by the AB button to set playback loop points, and finally the power button, which you have to hold for about 2 seconds to turn off. That helps to keep you from accidentally shutting the unit off while you're recording. On the other side of the Pico is the USB port, allowing me to transfer files to a Mac or PC. Next to that are 3/8" jacks, one for headphone monitoring, followed by a stereo line input, and at the end, a stereo mic input with an optional 3-volt power supply for external electret microphones. To conserve battery power, make sure the external mic power supply is off though if you're not using it. On the back panel are 3 set-it-and-forget-it switches, a noise cut switch that activates the high-pass filter to help reduce rumbles and wind noise, a speed switch that changes the playback speed, and a hold switch that locks the buttons out, preventing an accidental setting change. Also back here is the little built-in speaker. There's no quarter 20 thread on the Pico, but Nagra has indicated that a stand for it will be coming in the future. Operation is fairly straightforward. On top of the Pico is a backlit LCD display showing pertinent info like file names, recording times, levels, and more. In terms of setting levels, the Pico has an optional automatic gain control, or AGC function, that automatically adjusts the input level for you based on the volume of your sound source. You can also set the input levels manually, but only while the Pico is actually recording. There's no input-only mode, and if paused during record, the meters will shut off. The Pico also features volume-operated recording, or VOR, meaning the unit will go into record automatically when sound reaches a certain level, and then out again when the volume drops below that threshold, and you can set that threshold at low, medium, or high. That's a nice feature that can both keep you from missing a recording if you forget to press the button, and also save you some recording space. One thing to note, though, is that the automatic gain control will not work when the VOR is engaged. Below the LCD are 3 additional keys, a mark key that lets you bookmark a point in the file, either in playback or record, so you can get to it quickly. Right next to that is the file and menu key, which works with the transport buttons on the side to navigate through menu-driven functions, like setting your record format and others, including some convenient playback functions, including looping and EQ options, as well as a playback speed adjustment that lets you speed up or slow down playback of a file without changing the pitch. And that can be very helpful when you're transcribing an interview or speech, for example. You've been listening to my voice being recorded on the Pico, but let's hear how it sounds recording guest guitarist Mr. Mike Callahan playing his Martin acoustic. So that's a rundown on the Pico handheld audio recorder, streamlined for quick on-the-go recording. But for a recorder with a more advanced feature set, let's take a look at the Lino. And while we do, I'll use it to record my voice for this part of the video. Larger than the Pico and also featuring a chassis with metal casing, the form of the Lino is almost identical to that of the Nagra SD. Although it's substantially lighter, weighing in at 8.8 ounces, including the 2 AA batteries that it runs on. And those will power the unit for about 10 hours. And in fact, the Lino features the same internal electronics as the Nagra SD, but instead of using the AirRes series of detachable microphones, the Lino's high-quality stereo mic array is built in right on the front. It records to SD or SDHC cards of up to 32 gigabyte capacity, and the card slot is on the side right by the headphone jack. The Lino records PCM files at rates of up to 24-bit, 96 kilohertz, but if you need to save space, you can choose from a variety of MPEG formats. You can also choose between mono and stereo recording. The external mic input with optional 3-volt plug-in power is on the side, just next to the stereo line-in jack and USB port for file transfer. The Lino operates on a menu system and front panel controls that include the usual players: record button and transport controls, volume and input levels on the sides, a Q button to bookmark files, A/B repeat markers, a big red power button, and an easy-to-read LCD display. There's also a nice bright red peak light that makes it easy to see at a distance if the level is too hot. On the back, just above the built-in speaker, are some set it and forget it switches, mic gain, AGC, hold button, and the quality template switch. The quality switch allows you to quickly swap between two templates that you set up in the menus, one for higher quality recordings and a second at a lower resolution. So for example, I can set my high template to record a WAV PCM file at 24-bit 96 kilohertz, and then I can set my low template to record an MP3 at 320 kilobits per second. I can then swap between the two with a flip of the switch on the back. An optional low-cut filter will roll off frequencies below 100 Hz to reduce rumble and wind noise. The VOR feature we saw on the Pico is here as well, but it's called voice-operated recording on the Lino, and it's a bit more sophisticated here. Not only can you set the threshold in dBs, you can tell the Lino to keep recording for as little as 5 seconds and up to a full 3 minutes, even after the volume is below that threshold. In addition, the Lino can be set to pause the same VOR take or create a new file each time it goes into record. There's also a pre-record feature that can capture up to 3 seconds of audio before you actually hit the record button, which can be a lifesaver if you're a little late on the button press out in the field. Unlike the Pico, you can't adjust the playback speed on the Lino, and there are no EQ settings either, but it does feature smart audio level control that evens out the volume levels on playback. A strongly recommended accessory for the Lino is the working case for it that Nagra makes. It's the same case that comes with the Nagra SD, and it features a clear front panel that gives you access to the display and buttons, and there are cutaway sections for additional buttons and ports. The case also has the 1/4-20 thread for mounting to a tripod, or you can pick up a 1/4-20 to cold shoe adapter and mount the Lino directly to your camera. In fact, let's do that, take it outside, and hear how it sounds. So you've heard how it sounds outside. Let's bring Mike back in and record him playing his acoustic guitar with the Lino. So there's an overview of Nagra's new portable audio recorders. Journalists, interviewers, and other folks on the go will appreciate the simplicity and form factor of the ultra-portable Pico, while the Lino offers more features and can deliver higher resolution recordings. I'm Rob from B&H, and thanks for watching.
For more information, please visit us online, give us a call, or stop by our New York City Superstore. You can also connect with us on the web.